Hello, this is Christine Casey with the Honeybee Haven on the UC Davis campus in Davis, California. Leafcutter bees are likely the most common bee you've never seen. Let's take a closer look at this interesting group. The family name means big lips and refers to the group's strong mouth parts, which are needed to cut and collect nesting material. Most gardeners have likely seen plant leaves like these with pieces removed. This is characteristic of these bees. Notice that the removed pieces are C-shaped and always have smooth edges. Notched edges mean the chewing was done by a beetle. Flower petals may also be used to build nests. Here's a farewell to spring flower being cut and removed by a leafcutter bee. Leafcutter bees naturally build nests in tunnels underneath tree bark. We can create this habitat in gardens with nesting blocks or other tubular nesting substrates. The female makes several trips to collect pollen and nectar and lays an egg on the food provision when it's large enough. She then collects leaf pieces or other nesting material and wraps the egg in food for protection. The process is repeated to fill the nest. She controls the sex of the egg that will hatch, so more valuable female eggs are laid towards the back of the nest. This also ensures that males emerge first and are ready for mating when the females come out. Here's a cross-section view of a completed nest. Each curved section is one egg. I dissected this nest and counted an average of 15 leaf pieces per egg. The common name leafcutter is a bit misleading, as bees in this family will use many different nest-building materials, although each species is consistent in what they use. These nests have been filled with leaf pieces, plant hairs, and decomposed granite. Empty nests on the upper right show how bees chew their way out, while a female filling her nest is emerging on the lower left. Leafcutter bees are often overlooked in the garden because they are so small. You'll notice that she carries pollen on the underside of her abdomen, unlike most bees that carry pollen on their legs. This allows her to easily transport the pollen into the narrow tubular nest. The male on the right has a smaller, narrower abdomen by comparison, as he does not collect pollen. Another distinguishing feature of leafcutter bees is the wing veins. Unlike most bees that have 3 submarginal cells, leafcutter bees only have 2. This is often easiest seen on photographs taken while observing these bees in the garden. Leafcutter bees also tend to hold their abdomens in an elevated position off the flower. Here's another bee you may see if you have lots of leafcutter activity in your garden. The cuckoo bee doesn't build her own nest or collect her own food, but instead lays her eggs in established nests of other bees. Her eggs hatch first, and the larvae eat the provisions left for the leafcutters. Within the cuckoo bees, the genus Coleoxys is commonly associated with leafcutter bees. The pointed abdomen is used to fight with other bees if needed to obtain the nest for herself. Bee hotels have been widely promoted as a tool for leafcutter bee conservation. In most urban gardens, however, nesting sites are not a limiting factor for leafcutter bees. Indeed, large groups of nest blocks, like in these bee hotels, can facilitate disease spread. It's best to just place a few small nests in your garden. Also consider that many plants with hollow stems are used for bee nesting in the wild. When you prune these, leave about 6 inches of stem behind for bees to use. It may take a few years before bees find and start using your nests, but once they do, they tend to return to the same location each year. The nest on the left is what we build at the Haven. It's made from untreated redwood with holes of the appropriate depth, 4 to 6 inches, and diameter, 3, 4, and 5/16 inch. One study found that some bee species prefer blue nests, while others have shown that a pattern on the nest face helps bees find the nest. The burlap wrap helps to shade the nest entrance. Nests can also be made out of plastic pipe, although you must close off the back to prevent light intrusion. We place our nests in a bucket kept in an unheated, sheltered location over the winter. This keeps the eggs at the front from rotting. We've also had the problem of squirrels chewing on our nests, so this protects them from that as well. If you choose to build your own leafcutter bee nest blocks, be sure they are biologically correct. Many of the houses sold for gardeners are the wrong size and depth. Bees also won't use houses that are open in the back or that move in the wind. Start by cutting a block of redwood or other untreated lumber 6 inches long. Clamp it securely in place to drill the tubes. Drill holes 5 inches deep using drill bits that are 3, 4, and 5/16 inch across. You'll find a tip sheet on building and using bee houses on our webpage. I've added a link to it in the description. Please share and like if you found this useful. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.